of a new ballad about the candidate you wanted like a finger in your fruit salad, but were made to choke down. And never mind he didn't have supporters on the ground. Never mind a website that gave volunteers the runaround, and a platform, a policy that followed Biden's lead and didn't make a fucking sound. And then he takes the crown. Now that's ascension into power by immaculate election, cause no one really wanted it and no one should have trusted it. But don't you try to question it, cause Joe is not a fan of questions, but Joe is a fan of pointing fingers right in people's faces. Or if they're not in public spaces, Joe will try to poke a finger everywhere I won't mention. Joe's soul is molded and beholden more to power than the list of fucking speakers at the DNC convention, who gave us all a show of keeping AOC at bay, just so everyone can say they tried to censor her dissension. But if you still believe the progressives we've elected give a shit if we're protected, there's a bridge I'd like to sell you in a parallel dimension. You know they're just tech savvier with media relations, propagandist Instagram and public obfuscation. Better suited to assure you that they're here to have a conversation. Better suited to assure you they aren't actively supporting your eviction and your slide into starvation. Better suited to assure you they can tweet about your needs and offer hope and motivation while you drift into the weeds, but they partnered with the moccasins and gators and the reeds. You damn sure get a portion of our meat. So, love me or leave me or mislead me to decree. Honey, you won't want to hear it, so I'll try to say it sweet. The squad are not your buddies, they are simply more discreet. The GOP will kill you on your feet. Dems and fake progressives do it in your sleep. Anyone can recognize a nation's needs and put it in a tweet. But coming from a leader in a seat of power really shows they know they're obsolete. GOP will kill you on your feet. Dems and fake progressives do it in your sleep. The squad are not your buddies, they are simply more discreet. You won't want to hear it, so I'll try to say it sweet. Although he's not the slickest vulture to have ever picked a carcass, he's just the kind to catch us at our darkest for an easy harvest. Just the kind to serve us to the markets and see you lose your home before his donors let him bargain. Who'll give a cop the go-ahead to shoot you in the leg before they let you harm a target. And being an American, I love watching garbage, but it's overload. And this is not my first rodeo. I don't drop mics, but I choke slam podiums, and so we go. Little bit of Troy, a little Roanoke. Karma, come and hold me close. Tell me how you told me so. I'm overboard, blowing out. I'm holy ghosted, stolen shroud, soaked in old petroleum and calling down the rolling clouds. Slowly move my mouth and form the only sound I knew, and it was always out of tune, but it's the ugly fucking truth, and now it's flowing out. Break the banks, flood the basin. I transcribed a translation, spoke it out of Morse code and straight into capsaicin. And God, I hope it suits your station, cause it's my last release that won't require proof of vaccination. I got all my rates adjusted for infection and inflation, bloating and decay and all the perks of radiation. We see the virus for the profits, not the patients. Honey, look at all these records set for all the corporations. When COVID started spreading, they were just a side of celebration. They got one record quarter in the bag and now they're all impatient. Rather have a toe to tag than see a mouth to feed, or worse, a kid in need of education. And honey, only money's making that distinction. They're gonna thin the herd straight through starvation to the brink of our extinction. Capitalism favors innovation and is never at a loss for ways to make us hate our liberation, cloud our vision. Somewhere in America, a man with no money in the bank is on his way to City Hall to go complain about proposals for a soup kitchen. And he'll never see the tiny bit of irony that floats in all the tragedy of his position. And he's not the only one, it's an American tradition. So it goes, in endless perpetuity, we never deviated from the mission. I set out the ritual and listened from the sand, held my head between my hands and muttered dying would be easy, life's an everyday decision. And I'm not the only one, it's an American tradition. it's an American tradition. I bet you thought that Trump would go to jail and Joe would listen. You're not the only one, it's an American tradition. I bet you thought that Trump would go to jail and Joe would listen.
Legend says that Hercules swept Cerberus right off his feet and effortlessly set him down softly as a songbird. Atlas kept the world upon his back and every day wondered whether he could stand it any longer. And Tara Reid came out to say the man they tried to label the messiah of morality was really just another rapist. And I don't intend to hesitate when asked who was the stronger. Tara, like Assange, knew that carrying the truth would be the hardest labor. Tara knew that her assailant wasn't gonna make us any safer. And knew he's just the type of man to hand a decent foreign leader US-printed walking papers. And knew he'd be relentless and aggressive in the war he'd wage upon her very character. That his attempts to weaken and degrade and embarrass her would be her only compensation. But I strongly doubt that anyone could ever have foreseen the stream of hate that came from quote-unquote progressives and the self-styled titans of survivor advocation. So if you really think there's something to be gained out of sharing your pain with the world, you are sorely mistaken. The Biden team just dragged their feet addressing Tara's allegations. Until they had a decent list of smears, then they aired them out on every station. And it turns out no one wants to hear the truth of who they praised as being worthy of such bloated liberal celebration. That no one wants to really know the person they've so valiantly defended, even when it meant they had to gloat and shit all over someone braver than they'd be if given the occasion. Now cue the faceless comment squad invasion. Cue those fuckers crawling out the woodwork to come analyze the way you wore your hair and what you wear. Like your appearance waives your rights, or that somehow you're the reason for your situation. Somehow they've decided you should bear responsibility for what such monstrous men insist on doing. Somehow they're deluded by the empty, hypocritical, and useless fucking platitudes that bastard keeps on spewing. And I think it's very telling that the best of their excuses when they try to come and justify our president's abuses is a hearty butt Trump. In which case I'll remind you that you never saw the news attempt to sell us Donald Trump like he was morally upstanding or a decent human. But when Joe says something bigoted or ogles someone's little kid, CNN says, isn't this refreshing? Biden's like a mix of JFK and FDR with all the finer parts of Harry Truman. Christ, I know that they don't think that we're the brightest, but at least pretend we got a couple lumens. Ask yourself if you have ever questioned what they fed you, or do you just shut your eyes and then consume it? And now ask yourself if you ate every one of Biden's lies under guise of harm reduction and the promise of a slight improvement. And now imagine long ago that Biden chose to show you who he really was by traumatizing you for his amusement. Now imagine that you watched him touch a Bible with those filthy hands, and then assume the power of the highest seat in all the land, of knowing your attacker wields a global coalition born of three-letter agencies who'll make a life's mission out of trying to discredit you through lies, damn lies, and collusion. Big tech is never gonna separate from our surveillance state. Fuck's sakes, they're just a breath away from total fusion. So there will come a time where even if you see the light, your voice will never reach the sky through all the bots and all the noise pollution. So trust us when we tell you that the masking of abuses is perhaps this country's oldest institution. And I know nothing nobler than facing it in honor of the truth when you know that the people holding power have been neutralizing truth since there was wet ink on the Constitution. So know that Tara's truth is something crucial to the movement. And if you see yourself a partner to the revolution, help this country see through all the baseless propaganda, through the crux of Joe's illusions, and recognize that Tara Reid gave everything she had so she could tell us what the truth is. Recognize the decent thing to do when someone bares their soul and shows their bruises is not to ask for context or offer up your own solutions. Your job is just to listen with an honest mind and put yourself on Tara's side a moment so you understand the path she chooses. That there is no instant fame worth the dragging of your name. And if that's what you think, you've a lot to learn about the kind of facts the mob can handle and the kind that it refuses. You've a lot to learn about the news and all its many uses. Guess you've yet to learn the truth the news will serve as fruit from which they've squeezed out all the juices. And we all eat the husk and just pretend it's full of nutrients and isn't really useless. But the jaws of our ability to yield accountability are absolutely toothless. So don't you kid yourself that any lips are being loosened. They won't ever tell us where the bodies are or show us where the proof is. It's on you to recognize the lechery our president so regularly oozes. It's on you to muster up some honesty and ask yourself how Biden won your trust, but it's America that loses. Open up your eyes and learn to recognize the bruises. Open up your eyes and learn to recognize the bruises.
Good morning, Sunday morning. Good morning, Sunday morning.
We're 40 Sunday mornings out from normal and the world is not the same. Said you waited for a warning, but the warning never came. Don't shine a light in my face.
Nancy gonna cut you a check too late. 2 years after your funeral's paid, 2 years after the grave, she'll be a little stronger for all of the dollars she saved. Watching you wake, watching you cling to your family slipping away. Watch her do nothing but pray. Watch her condemn the Republicans, take them to brunch and then shrug it away. Now watch us be outraged half of a day, then pick a new hero to face our leaders and think they could beat them, playing the game they played since Pelosi had real human blood in her veins. They're all one and the same, sold off stocks and they all maintain that the risk was benign and the virus was tame. Flash forward and 40 Sunday mornings fade, 250,000 people in its wake and the cruise ship sailed today. So motherfucker, don't shine a light in my face. Wait.
Good morning, Sunday morning. Good morning,
Wait.
Sunday morning.
We're 40 Sunday mornings out from normal and the world is not the same. Said you waited for a warning, but the warning never came. Don't shine a light in my face. Said you waited for a warning, but the warning never.
No, Indy Left, what is happening here?
To check out independentleft.news.
The Indie News Network.
Indie Left News.
Oh, hey, Indie Left.
independentleft.news. Great work.
Indie Left News.
Independentleft.news.
Independent Left News.
Shout out to Independent Left News. Shout out. Oh, what's up, Independent Left? Indie Friend Left. Show.
Thank you, independentleft.news.
The INN, Indy, you're wonderful.
I think Indie was onto something.
Independent News Network, Indie News.
Yeah. What's up, Indy, over on Rockfin?
Independent News Network, also known as INN.
Indie Left News.
I don't know if I would have made it through that 3 weeks without Indy, honestly.
No, I was just going to ask Indy.
A huge thank you and shout out to Indie Left.
No, you know what we're doing? We're world building, Indy.
Indie Left News.
You were doing the INN recruiting.
Indie News.
Independent Left News.
Shout out to Independent Left News.
Check out Independent Left News.
At Kennedy News.
I see Indy's in the chat. Hi, Indy. Okay, great. Bye.
Okay, great. Bye. Hi, everybody. Hi, bye. I hear echo. Oh, boy. Why am I hearing echo? Is that me? Am I too close? Maybe I'm too close.
I don't know.
Damn it. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Gamer. I love this intro, too. Shout out to Joe. Shut the fuck up, shitlib. If you're listening out there, Joe, love you. Can't wait for you to be back. Hope that you guys don't have to go on strike on August 1st, UPS drivers, but solidarity if you have to. Hopefully they'll cave, company will cave, and you guys will actually get some real concessions, but I know it's getting bad, and they're gaslighting, and it's been a whole thing. So, wow, we got a whole bunch of people here. Wow, this is great. Cool. I'm Indy. Hi. So Yeti's here. What's up, Yeti? We got the Yeti lines. We got Yepex. We got Gamer. What's up, Gamer? Bad Cookies. All right. Henry DeShazzo. Welcome. We got Malecki in the house. Anthony Malecki. Mastermind Hour was here like a half hour ago. I love you. Thank you so much. Shout out to you. I saw you. I know you saw Keaton in there. Shout out to Do Dissidents. I know they had Sabby on earlier tonight. So they're done. So hopefully we picked up some of the people that were watching there. They got a nice crowd. So proud of them. They're doing great work. All right. What's up, man? We got the Reefer here with the soundboards, and yeah, it's been a hell of a week, huh, guys? And ladies. Hopefully there's some ladies. Lori Spencer. Hopefully at some point will be along if she's not here yet. Maybe Misty will show up. We'll see. We'll see if we have some female friends that are going to show up to this sausage fest. So, welcome everybody to How Do We Miss That? How Do We Miss That is a show featuring articles written by independent journalists who expose corruption, cover workers organizing, and environmental crises. Damn it, I can't get through this thing once. While challenging corporate establishment narratives and talking points. New episodes are streaming live Sunday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. That's like now on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Rockfin, Substack, Facebook, Telegram. Podcasts usually published within a couple days on Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Google, and more, anywhere you get your podcast. I'm Indy. I'm co-host, founder, and editor of Indie Media Today's Substack and Indy's Tech Tips. And at some point coming back soon, Indie Left News. And then I got this guy sitting next to me, and that's Reef Breland. He is INN's technical director and the creator of INN News and Reefer After Dark, which maybe one day will come back. Both of us are co-founders of Indie News Network. We are streaming live to INN and most of the INN channels. That's a collaborative family of 18 independent content creators. Find all our channels at indienews.network, as well as a list of our members and all their links. All the stories were curated this past week for the last time between at independentleft.news until Paperly shut us down between Sunday and Friday. Actually, it was Thursday, April 20th, they shut down. So now I've got a different way to keep up with the fire hose of developing news. So I'm basically using RSS feeds and my email and trying to aggregate, news and trying to come up with a couple stories that'll be good this, for Sunday night. So thanks everybody for bearing with us with that. Please make sure to share this link, like the stream, subscribe to our channel on all the platforms you watch and listen. We're everywhere. We're doing a lot more at the Substack, publishing a couple times a day, putting out a clip from How Do We Miss That? Or a live stream alert there, or we're sharing an article from somebody else. We're also doing our daily updates there every day. And then, hey, check this out. Oh, now Reef's all tight and close, and now we got chat right up on his face. That's awesome. I love having chat up his nose. That's great. So yeah, make sure to share the link, like the stream, subscribe to our channel everywhere you watch and listen. We are everywhere. I've run an experiment. I don't know if anybody's on Rumble in the mornings, but we've been running live streams of clips in the mornings on a loop. And it seems to be that people are watching it unless they're fake views. And if you're on Rumble right now, chat and let us know that you're not a fake view. Fake news. See, that's what Reef says every day, that Rumble, while we love you and it's a terrific platform, that somehow impressions are coming off as views, and you guys are fake views, or not fake views, but you're overinflating for the creators.
Leave a comment.
Hey,
leave
man.
a like.
Say something.
Type in the chat.
Say something.
Do anything.
We're giving up. No, I don't want to get
giving up on
hey,
you.
I don't want to get DMCA'd. So, all
what,
right.
we're so good at singing that
I know they know that we sound so close to. I think is that Christina Aguilera. I don't
Right.
even know who that is.
No.
I'm terrible. See, terrible. I'm so old.
Me too. I mean, I couldn't remember, but
I am so old.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to some stories. Hi, everybody. All right, we got 15 people watching live there, plus the Rockfin and the Rumble and everybody that's chatting over there. Beautiful. Here's our thumbnail for tonight. Shout out Big Mad Crab, as always, our creative director. I can't keep it straight, but he did kick-ass thumbnail for us this week and a couple of individual clip thumbnails also. So we got this going with Anti-Wikileaks. We're going to talk a bit about corporate media and Julian. Rail workers replying to AOC. And we've got some dirty cops. We're going to talk about Cop City. It's as it turns out, today would have been Tortuguita's birthday. So we're going to do a story about him.
Tortuguita.
We haven't really told his story here, I don't believe, if not for a long time. I don't know.
I have on INN News.
I know you have, but
few times.
And I love Unicorn Riot. They are definitely deserving of the Indie Media Award. So thank you. But so tonight we're going to be doing a bunch of stories full of Indie Media Award honorees. So glad that honestly it was, we had the idea to come up with doing this, and it really does spotlight the people that are out there doing the best work that we found, and consistently over time, that are putting out, in our world and telling the stories that need to be told that nobody else is telling, and challenging imperialism, and thank God for them, really. So the first one is about trespassing in Asheville, North Carolina for journalism. This is an unbelievable story from Kevin Gosztola, the Dissenter. If you have not subscribed to this newsletter yet, please do. Give it a sub. It's free to subscribe, and then there's an annual or a monthly subscription fee, kind of like a Substack. Kevin was with Substack. He moved over to a platform called Ghost. That's the host of the Dissenter. There is no free option like there is with Substack, which is why I'm not over there, because you have to have a paid subscription in order to be a user, to be a publisher over there. Like, you can't have a free version, I don't believe, or like, I don't remember what it was, but there was something about Ghost that I wasn't crazy about their platform and their format. But anyway, so Kevin, in the meantime, sorry I dorked out about platform there, and I have to put money in the jar. Thanks, Reef. So Kevin picked up this article about North Carolina judge convicts journalists of trespassing. What? So, journalism's under attack. We talk about it all the time. And of course, Kevin Gosztola, from both Shadowproof and the Dissenter, he is a double Indie Media Award honoree. So really, we can give him two shots there, Mr. Reef. He's one of very few double honorees. Whitney has it for herself in Unlimited Hangout, and a couple others. But anyway, so what happened here? A judge in North Carolina found the two journalists with the Asheville Blade guilty of trespassing on Christmas in 2021 when they stayed in a public park to cover Asheville police as they evicted a homeless encampment. Veronica Coit and Matilda Bliss were sentenced to pay $25 in fines and court costs. She received an additional sentence of 1 year of unsupervised probation with a 10-day suspended prison sentence, according to the Asheville Citizen Times. So, suspended prison. The Asheville Blade reporters immediately appealed the decision by Judge Calvin Hill. Jury was tentatively scheduled for May 1st. And in today's bench trial of Blade journalists, Judge Calvin Hill declared them guilty of trespassing, ignored freedom of the press, openly sided with the police department's claim that it can order reporters off public land, So the judge, according to the media organization, apparently contended that no evidence had been presented to show that the reporters were journalists. The prosecutor didn't even take this position. Now, I don't know if you saw the cover photo that I showed, but the cover photo actually is a photo that shows that they have a press badge and the cop, like, with the light shining on the press badge. So the Asheville Blade is a, quote, leftist local news co-op that focuses on hard-hitting journalism, in-depth investigation, and sharp views from Asheville. Worrisome. They are reader-supported primarily through Patreon. There's a link on the Dissenter website, and have been around for more than a decade. Okay. Beginning on December 19th, 2021, those in Asheville gathered at Aston Park for 5 evenings to urge the city to leave people without any shelter alone in the park after it closed at 10 p.m. So they took a stand on Christmas, and police responded by sweeping the encampment and arresting 6 people, including these 2 reporters. All 6 arrestees were, quote, released from custody on the condition that they did not return to the Aston Park, which is what the Asheville Free Press reported. ACLU of North Carolina, Freedom Press Foundation, Reporters Without Borders, everybody kind of comes to their backing and urging the city to abandon this prosecution. Body camera footage was released after the groups requested that the Buncombe Superior Court in Asheville make the video public. Police showed the footage clearly showed that police had ordered the arrest of them because they were videotaping. Of course. So again, arrested for journalism. So Seth Stern, who's the advocacy director for Freedom of the Press Foundation, which was founded by Glenn Greenwald, I believe, said the footage also showed that Asheville Blade reporters had recorded the sweep from a distance, and they didn't obstruct police. The cops just didn't want the possibility that they could have recorded any kind of wrongdoing or mischaracterized what they were doing, I believe. In the released footage, Asheville Police Department Mike McClanahan asks Bliss if they're leaving. Clearly, I have marked identification as as a member of the press, she responds, to which the police lieutenant replies, clearly, you're trespassing. She's singled out by officers similarly. They tell police they are covering a story and identify themselves as press. Quote, these 2 journalists were serving the public interest by documenting this event, and their presence is protected by the First Amendment, says Clayton Weimers, who's the executive director for the U.S. Bureau for Reporters Without Borders. That's RSF, by the way. I think if you look it up. Rebecca Vincent is the global head. The charges against them for trespassing are a poor attempt by local officials to intimidate the press and public from being able to monitor law enforcement. I mean, how often have we seen this? Like, film the fuzz, right? Like, you made like a whole thing about this.
Yep.
Weimer spoke to Asheville Citizen Times and highlighted the fact that more and more local governments in the U.S. are passing ordinances to prohibit reporting from homeless encampments. Great. So, quote, I think this is the first guilty verdict in one of these cases, and I hate to think about what kind of precedent we're setting here. Great. This is the 4th trial since 2018 against journalists for offenses allegedly committed while gathering and reporting news, according to the Freedom of the Press Foundation's U.S. Press Freedom Tracker. They were never accused of harming or obstructing police or anyone, and it's ridiculous that this case even got to this point, is what their lawyer said after the verdict. Their crackdown on free speech doesn't end with journalists. The same prosecutors are trying mutual aid workers for felony littering. Seriously.
Right. Felony littering.
Yep. Every reporter, everyone who's criticized any official or cop should find the push to punish our journalists chilling. Yeah, I do. We remain determined to keep fighting, and we stand behind them. And I changed the thing with the merch, so it's still at independentleft.shop, and I added indiemediaawards.com and the link for the Discord. Yeah, we do have a Discord, and that's one of the other ways that you can keep up with all of the news and all the articles that were being fed into.
It's where all the super fans are at.
That is true.
Shut up and take my money.
And there are still some bots over there too, I believe.
Oh, look who's in Look who's in chat.
Lord Nelson's trousers, it's a Yeti.
Oh my goodness. It is a Yeti.
Yeti's in chat.
Yes, Yeti's been in chat. I said hi to Yeti before.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Max Sarge. What's going on? Rick Solis, how are you, brother? Good to see you. Kameshwari Kate, hi.
What's up,
welcome, everybody. It is Sunday night. I am so happy to be here. This is my distraction and after the week we've all had, I think I kind of, even though these stories suck, most of them at least, I kind of need to do this anyway. And I'm really glad that you're here and I appreciate everybody being here. So
what's happening in Utah?
What is happening in Utah?
Thought we'd cover it.
I did not cover this story about Merrick Garland and something about Utah. Is that having to do with the family and the kids that had locked themselves in their room? Is that story? I'm not really sure exactly which one. Sorry.
Possibly.
Yepex, things are kind of turned upside down right now with the news because I can't get the article feed that I would like to get, and I'm not getting it.
Normally have.
Yeah, so it's just my head's all messed up.
It'll be back soon though.
Yeah, we're working on it, and we got our boy Josh working on it.
ETA on that?
Yeah, the ETA is when it's done, but what he's asking me for is RSS feed, so that's a good thing. I gave him that list today, so we're moving it along every day, and that's all I can ask for. But
nice.
we got this article. I got this, and this was on Tuesday. I can do it this way. Okay. The Anti-Wikileaks, and this was originally I found it in my Popular Resistance email, but it was actually written by our friend of the show, friend of the network, Elizabeth Voss from Consortium News. Now, as it turns out, both Consortium News and Popular Resistance are Indie Media Award honorees. So we can hit that up a couple times. All right. And a story about the Anti-Wikileaks being corporate media. I'm like, all right, well, that sounds like an article that we can read. And then I saw it, and I saw Elizabeth wrote it and what it said. And I'm like, okay, this is great. And then I saw that it wasn't too long. And I'm like, this is even better. So we got a nice shorty.
We're fucked.
I guess, sure. Thanks, Misty. Shout out to Misty. Yep. She's going to have a kick-ass week, and she's got some guests. We'll talk about her guests this week later on. But Elizabeth Voss, it was impossible to imagine 4 years ago when WikiLeaks editor Julian Assange was hauled out of the Ecuadorian embassy in London and thrown into Belmarsh, the corporate media, which had smeared him, could stoop to new lows of government servitude. But it has now happened with the arrest of Jack Teixeira, a 21-year-old Air National Guardsman, for allegedly leaking top-secret government documents. We've talked about this last week. The leaks expose a number of significant lies told by both the U.S. government and corporate media about the ongoing war in Ukraine. Among many items of interest, the documents revealed that the U.S. Special Forces, as well as NATO forces, are on the ground in Ukraine, that Ukraine is significantly unprepared for its planned spring offensive, as well as evidence of U.S. spying on its allies and Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations. Now, according to Al Jazeera, several purported U.S. intelligence assessments paint a more pessimistic outlook for the Ukrainian military than the U.S. has provided publicly. That's an understatement. They suggest Kiev is heading for only modest territorial gains in its much-anticipated spring counteroffensive. In other words, the content of these leaks expose lies told directly by the U.S. and NATO, as well as the corporate media that serve them. Of course they do. So we've got media on the hind, but how did major media react? Well, the New York Times worked with Eric Toller, a U.S. and UK government-funded Bellingcat staff writer, to publicly expose accused leaker Teixeira less than a day after federal authorities had even identified him. But the Times and WAPO had described him without naming him before the Department of Justice had, in effect, doing the FBI's jobs for them by tracking down the leaker. According to the affidavit supporting the prosecution of Teixeira, right, who held a top security clearance, the FBI subpoenaed Discord, an application used by gamers.
Oh, they subpoenaed Okay.
Okay, an application.
That sounds like one of those things. That sounds like one of those things where it's like, who's responsible for this? Well, they put it up on Discord. Get me this Discord person right now. Right? I'm like, okay, that's what that sounds like.
Well, an application often used by gamers and live streamers like these two guys right now to communicate.
Yes, and any organization, high school swim teams have Discords,
and where documents were alleged to have been originally leaked. Alleged. The information handed over by Discord
allegedly
then led to the sharer's arrest. Allegedly, of course. The leak itself and the arrest of the alleged source is significant enough, but what makes this story disturbing is the role of the media in actively finding and exposing Teixeira, revealing his identity instead of protecting him. The media frenzy appeared unanimous in its focus on identifying the leaker more than reporting on the newsworthy content of the material. What just happened here? That's a problem, right? We're back. So that is literally the exact opposite of what WikiLeaks is. And let's talk about WikiLeaks. By contrast, Julian Assange went to absolute limits of human endurance for the sake of protecting whistleblowing sources. In 2017, early in the Trump administration, President Trump was reportedly willing to negotiate a pardon for Assange if he would out the sources of the DNC emails and disprove Russiagate once and for all. Seth
Except
in August of 2016, Assange made comments on Dutch television that all but admitted that the source of the DNC emails was the murdered DNC staffer Seth Rich. So why not admit the identity of a dead source if it indeed was Rich, disprove Russiagate, and gain his freedom? Because WikiLeaks' obligation,
they have principles,
according to Assange, was the absolute protection of sources no matter the cost. It is a principle that may prove to cost the award-winning journalist his life. Free Julian Assange. Free Julian Assange now. WikiLeaks went on to publish Vault 7, which is a trove of CIA hacking secrets. The release enraged then CIA Chief Mike Pompeo, and shortly afterwards then FBI Director James Comey reportedly ended all negotiations for Assange's freedom. That's what did it. It was Vault 7. So, Julian also supported whistleblowers who didn't submit material to WikiLeaks, including Edward Snowden and Reality Winner. UK and Ecuador talks on securing Assange's release in 2012 were abandoned when Assange sent aid in the form of Sarah Harrison to Snowden as he was stuck in transit during his escape from Hong Kong. Stella Assange, attorney and now Julian Assange's wife, told Consortium News. At least that's the story. Okay. So when Reality Winner was arrested, Julian was absolutely vocal in support of her release and criticized The Intercept for bungling in their protection of Winner as a source. Yeah, fuck The Intercept. Like we said multiple times. Even went so far as to turn himself into authorities in exchange for the release of Chelsea Manning. So now, in the complete opposite vein, the New York Times and the Washington Post have worked with so-called journalists of Bellingcat to, in their words, hunt down, quote unquote, the leaker of top secret documents regarding the Ukraine war. If those are genuine, I mean, I want to know, are they legit? First of all, I want to know who allowed him to put, like, and was this a controlled release? I mean, that's a question. That papers of record would go so far as to actively work to expose a source of vitally important information to the public is astounding when compared with the lengths that serious journalists like Assange have gone to protect their sources. Now,
well, people forget that WAPO was the one who put it out first.
Yeah.
People forget this.
And Guardian, too.
Like, they put it out, forcing him to release the documents.
Yep.
Like, he essentially then had to put out all the files because they published.
And he still put them out redacted. So, the guy who put the key out was David Lee. And Luke Harding from The Guardian. And that's what allowed them to actually decode all
Trump
stuff.
did it.
Yeah, Trump did it, right? So
it's Trump's fault.
But no, Trump offered him a deal and he still said no. So yeah, it couldn't be Trump, and that's what an actual journalist does, is protects leakers and protects sources. Now, Was he a leaker? Did he know what he was doing? Did he know he was leaking it to a member of the press? Was he going through channels as a whistleblower? I don't know.
No. I mean, I don't. Maybe
right. Right. So perhaps such activities are less surprising coming from members of Bellingcat, an organization funded by NATO states and intelligence league groups, and reported by the Gray Zone to be loved by CIA officials. I don't think that there's really much question about that. Fake news rumble. No chats. Okay. Journalists are entrusted by the public to reveal truth, not serve the powerful in a witch hunt for sources of the truth. Instead, the New York Times and its co-conspirators from Bellingcat appear to have been seeking to punish a leaker who exposed the U.S. government and the corporate media's lies. Yeah. But I think that they allowed him, in some way. They either know that he did it, wanted him to do it. They needed this information to get out there because they need to move on to Taiwan and move away from funding Ukraine at this point. So slowly let the information out in outrageous ways, controlled type of leaks or whatever. I mean, I don't know what it says in the Discord, so I can't speculate, but that it got to this level and that Bellingcat was involved and you've got all these, there's a lot of smoke there. But what Elizabeth is saying is that the legacy news media is not simply a second-rate form of journalism in comparison with WikiLeaks, but it's intentional opposite, which I agree with. And hey, we've got some nice merch at the Independent Left shop.
Opposite.
Yes, they are opposite. Total. Did you freeze? Somebody's frozen. No? Yeah,
no.
Yeah, your video's frozen.
Maybe.
Damn it. Okay. I don't know if I've got terrible. Yeah, you've got.
Not for me.
Yeah, your sound is like
fine for me.
Yeah,
you hear me?
Yeah, barely, but you're a little max headroomy.
Can you hear me?
You're
test.
You're a little max headroomy. Barely test.
Okay, I think that's you.
Oh no. My internet's been wonky, guys, so if I lose this, I'm sorry. But
I think it's your internet again.
No, hopefully it's not. Okay, so we've got a couple more stories.
It's okay. Good timing.
Yeah, I guess, because it's the end of the story. I am not fine. Oh, it says you are not fine, Reefer. I am buffering now. This is what happens. Oh, and Reef is gone. Where did Reef go? No, I'm gone. No, Reef's gone. What? Where's Reef? Reef's gone. Reef's spinning. Oh boy. Okay, so we're doing the show alone. Okay. Hey, everybody. Well, we're gonna keep going. Hopefully, Reef. Popcorn. Well, he's real slow. Wow. It's me. It's Discord. Actually,
and it says I have green bars.
I have red bars. I have red bars, and that sucks.
Sure.
Now the whole stream is lagging. Great.
Okay, it's probably you then.
That is freaking awesome. Okay, everybody can see and hear me. So it's Discord. It's my Discord. So hold on. Let me hang on a Discord and shut off Discord and come back. Hold on. Darn it. And let me. Yeah, Discord is acting funny, and I don't know why. Yeah, Discord's really bad. Yep, this is bad. Okay. Hopefully Reef makes it back. No, this is bad. It's me then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Bad internet is the only thing that I can't control, guys. I'm sorry. Okay. Yep. I am the streamer. Indy is. Sorry. All right. So I want to talk about dirty cops, and we know all, ACAB and everything. So Shock. Cops
Turn your
steal.
stream onto me again.
What? It is onto you. It's just very choppy and laggy. If anything, we might want to turn off the video, but I don't know. I'm really getting angry with my...
No, you don't have your...
service provider.
You don't have your stream going to me.
Oh,
so I can't see.
I got you. But Discord is still red for me, and that's really making me flipping angry. I'm ready to switch. Okay. I'm just about ready to switch to Zoom.
We'll just keep going until it gets better, I guess.
Either that or we may need to switch to Zoom. I don't know about both.
I don't think it's Discord that's the problem.
Yeah, it's definitely Discord because I have a red connected actual recording.
Whatever.
Anyway,
we'll figure it out.
Dirty Cops, Truthout, Indie Media Award honoree.
Yeah, but
Police are abusing civil forfeiture laws to seize cash for themselves. I have no idea if Reef can hear this. So, Crystal Starling awoke to banging and shouting on October 29, 2020. The police smashed open her apartment door in Rochester, New York, and ordered everyone on the ground. More than 2 years later, Starling is still fighting to recover over $8,000 that she lost in the pre-dawn raid. What? Yeah. What the fuck? This case is one of thousands, showing the need for Fifth Amendment integrity restoration, FAIR Act, which is House Resolution 1525, a bipartisan effort to curb forfeiture abuses nationwide. I mean, we know cops steal, but Starling saw firsthand what can go wrong under current federal laws. Officers with the Rochester Police Department came looking for her then boyfriend, who was suspected of selling drugs. He was sleeping in the apartment. The only other occupants were Starling and her nephew, a child that she's cared for since he was 10 months old. Right? So the police found no drugs in the apartment. But the search produced something else. While rummaging through cupboards and drawers, officers found Starling's cash in a bedroom dresser drawer and pants pockets. Okay. Starling, who owns a hot dog stand, had earned the money through legal labor and was saving to buy a food truck. She never consented to her then boyfriend's alleged activities, and the police didn't accuse her of any wrongdoing, but they seized her money anyway. That's fucked up. Initially, Starling thought the setback would be temporary. Quote, I hadn't done anything wrong, she said. She told the Institute for Justice. I wasn't arrested for anything. There were no charges brought against me, so I didn't see a reason why I wouldn't get my money back. All right, I think maybe you're back. I don't know. This was her first mistaken assumption. Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, it looks like you're somewhat good. But through a process called civil forfeiture, we know the government can take and keep cash, cars, and other valuables without convicting anyone of a crime. Practice dates to medieval times, but was popularized and expanded in the U.S. as part of the war on drugs in the 1970s. Under modern rules, guilt or innocence can be irrelevant. The government pursued civil forfeiture against Starling's cash, even after a jury acquitted her then boyfriend due to lack of evidence. He was acquitted and still kept her cash. Are you kidding me?
Doo-doo.
Right? So, nice. Property owners who face civil forfeiture must fund their own defenses, and Starling couldn't afford an attorney. So she represented herself. Local officers had seized her cash, so she thought her court battle would occur in Monroe County under New York laws. And this was her second mistaken assumption, because through a law called equitable sharing created in 1984, state and local agencies can outsource civil forfeiture litigation to U.S. attorneys. These prosecutors use federal laws that offer property owners fewer protections than New York and many other states. The result is a massive loophole in state laws. If participating agencies don't like civil forfeiture reforms where they live, they can partner with the federal government and bypass them. Once the process ends, federal agencies take a cut for themselves and return the rest, up to 80%, to their state and local accomplices. I mean, this is a total jack.
So you have agencies that like So essentially, it's a department can just go around the fucking what?
They make it federal. They kick it up to federal, and now it's a whole different thing.
So, like, even if you have a law that says you can't, right? Like the right.
So the Rochester Police Department took this route with Starling's money, and by the time she figured out the jurisdiction, the clock had run out on her claim, and she lost her money by default without ever seeing a judge. Rather than accept the violation of her due process rights, she took her case to the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Our public interest law firm, the Institute for Justice, represents her for free. This is from Dan Alban and Daryl James, who published this article. H.R. 1525, which Representatives Tim Walberg, which is a Republican, and Jamie Raskin, a Democrat, reintroduced on March 9th, would help end cases like this. Of course, the Senate, I'm sure, would never do this because they love stealing money from poor people. But the lawless seizure and forfeiture of people's private property by police officers is becoming standard operating procedure in many parts of the country. We want to restore the presumption of innocence, fair justice, fair judicial practice, and the opportunity to be heard. And that's Jamie Raskin, who I don't agree with on a lot of things, but I certainly agree with that. On top of the fact that I don't want them stealing their goddamn money for any reason.
Baskins?
So, among other reforms, the measure would abolish federal equitable sharing. State legislatures could do this on their own, and some have even moved in this direction, like, of course, Arizona, Maryland, Nebraska, New Mexico, and Ohio. Prevent property transfers to the federal government for forfeiture unless seized assets are worth more than a threshold amount, ranging from $25,000 to $100,000. The intent is to keep the focus on major operations rather than petty criminals, which, yeah, petty crime is a crime out of the economy. If you paid people better, if you gave them real, like, living conditions, Pompeo might have gotten Reef. That's a good thing. You know, we did talk about Julian Assange, so that could have zapped my internet, but it might be a filter or something that says that. Anyway, New Mexico also bars state and local agencies from keeping equitable sharing proceeds for themselves, which reduces the perverse financial incentives. That's assuming they report it at all. But a lot of times they're just denying it and running the clock out and keeping the money. But these are steps in the right direction. But so far, no state has completely prohibited equitable sharing. The financial incentives to continue the program are just too high. Policing for Profit, which is a national report from the Institute for Justice, shows equitable sharing payments top $8.8 billion during the 20-year span from 2000 to 2019. So you have this guy, David B. Smith. He's a Yep, thank you. Oh, we're on a real delay here with our friend Reef. That was about a 3-second delay. Okay. So David B. Smith, who is a Virginia-based...
We'll fix it after.
Yeah, no, we're just going to have to probably switch to a different platform besides Discord, whether it's StreamYard or somewhere else. But, yeah, that's probably what's going to end up having to happen, unfortunately. All right. Anyway, David B. Smith, a Virginia-based attorney.
Bro, just finish the story. Thank you.
He supports forfeiture reform, says law enforcement agencies have grown dependent on that revenue. Yes, they have. Once they get used to it, they become addicted to it and had to have it. And that's where the loophole is most noticeable, which is in St. Louis Public Radio. So the Missouri State Constitution directs all forfeiture proceeds to schools, but police agencies prefer to keep the money for themselves. So they use equitable sharing to circumvent the requirement. Missouri police agencies provided just $202,000 to schools in 2018, while keeping more than $9 million for themselves through equitable sharing. Susan Goldhammer, she's an attorney for the Missouri School Board Association. She says that the children ultimately suffer. No. The children don't suffer by cops not stealing from people. That's nonsense garbage. A lot of this $9 million that they just stole of people's property And I don't want it going to schools. And I don't want it going to cops. I don't want it going anywhere. I don't want it being taken. I don't want to hear about them having school districts that don't have air conditioning. That's not the problem of criminals that are having their shit taken from them by dirty fucking cops. Sorry, Susan Goldhammer. Of course, she's an attorney. She doesn't really understand the problems. Thank you, but no, I'm out. Similar workarounds occur in North Carolina. State bans civil forfeiture, but police agencies use equitable sharing to circumvent the restriction, and they collected more than $293 million for themselves in the 20-year span. Presumably, the money goes toward police equipment and training, but no one even knows for sure. Nice. It goes into a black hole. That's even better. North Carolina does not track seized property or publish statewide forfeiture reports. Holy shit. No. Of course.
Yep.
We're freezing and we're buffering and no. Hi everybody. I don't know what you've heard, but I'm getting really freaking aggravated right now. I have no internet. We have no live stream. And I don't know what to do. I'm ready to can this because we have no stream. Shit. Federal reform is necessary to end abuse like this. Federal equitable sharing must be abolished. People like Starling deserve better. God damn it.
Yep.
I don't know what to do. Guys, you want me to continue, or is this like so bad that we can't even watch it? Is this even worth doing? Like I don't know. Yeah, it's funny. Discord got screwed with, and now look what's happening. Now let me see. Is this my internet? Because people are streaming Netflix. Yeah, everybody's telling me this is terrible. No, it's because we're challenging garbage imperialism. Fuck you, to the rest, to the entire security state. Fuck you to Optimum. Yeah, we're out. I'm gonna kill this. Unless you want to switch to, you can't hear me either. Nobody can even hear me.
Sure, let's do that.
All right, let's see.
I can hear you.
All right, let me go to a card, and we're gonna go to a thumbnail.